Hey guys, Staff Sergeant Wraith here. I wanted to try something a little different today. Well, it's not different for me, but it's different for the channel. This is Kerbal Space Program. Any of you who actually play any sort of online games or PC games, as well as watch a lot of Let's Plays, know exactly what I'm talking about. But for those who don't know, Kerbal Space Program is a space program. Yeah. It's a sandbox space program that has a little bit of an objective, but for the most part you build your rocket ships and you fly your rocket ships using basically basic Newtonian flight, which I mean I don't know all the scientific uh, all the scientific vernacular, and I don't know how to explain it all to you, but I understand the basic game itself and I enjoy it. So I play it, and that's what I'm going to do. Just choose a flag. We're going to choose Strutco, because you can never have enough struts. We're going to play the career mode, and we're going to name it SSGT Wraith. Start. So I already know how to play this game. There's plenty of tutorials, and it explains to you what to do to look at it, see everything, and you basically manage all of it. We have a runway, spacecraft, you can build planes there and space planes, space plane hangar, that's where you build the space planes, vehicle assembly building, that's where you can build your rockets, that's where you launch your rockets, that's where you track your outbound flights. You see the moon off in the distance there. Research and development, astronaut complex, and administration building. So if you look here, we don't have any science. We have the started research, which is just the basic level stuff. We have $25,000. Our reputation is right in the middle. It's not bad, it's not good, and no science. Basically, you have to manage all of these because your rockets cost money, obviously, and your fuel costs money. If you have a poor reputation, it's harder for you to get missions, I think. As for science is how you unlock this entire tree. And I mean, as you unlock, you go crazy. Get better rockets that help you out. And this is just the basic game. I mean, this game's been out for a very long time, and early alpha and then later beta. But I believe this is now past the 1.0 release. If I looked it up, I could tell you more, but I don't know. So I just kind of pulled it up all of a sudden. I didn't really plan on making a video, but we got to start somewhere. We have an astronaut complex. Here at the astronaut complex, it costs money to hire astronauts, obviously. There's 3 different types: scientists, pilots, and engineers. Engineers repair broken parts if possible. Scientists can get more out of doing experiments, get more science. Pilots are better at flying the vessel, obviously. And you can get all these people and their courage and stupidity. I'm pretty sure that doesn't even matter. I mean, they won't grab hold and do something crazy. I mean, you're in control, but that's just kind of like their character. Anyway, they do have experience, though. They get experience, and each level of experience basically takes some of the load off of you when you're learning to fly rockets. And you'll see what I mean here in a minute. So we've looked at our research and development, and we looked at our astronaut complex. We have our administration building here, which this allows you to basically exchange money or reputation or science for one or the other. Like if you really need money or if you really need something else, you can kind of do that. Runway, we don't have any planes, so we can't use it. Launch pad, we don't have any vehicles, so we can't use it. We'll get to those two in a second. Tracking station. Tracking station allows you to see everything around you, and as you level it up you can see more. But I mean, as you can see, we can basically scroll out to the entire galaxy, and while this isn't to scale with our galaxy, it is still quite vast. We have Eve, which is basically Venus. Moho is Mercury. Duna is Mars. Dress, Jewel, Elu, and yep, that's basically it. Each has their own set of satellites with them too, so you can explore those as well. Like we have the moon, around Kerbal, which is basically Earth, and then the Minimus, which is an outlying satellite. It's kind of set up to give you a little bit of a tutorial, like where eventually you learn how to escape the atmosphere. Then you can go to the moon, which is pretty much like perfectly set up square with the planet. And then you have to get to Minimus. You have to kind of change your orbit a little bit to get up there, and it goes on from there. 1 second. Settings. Alright. I'm going to back out of here and go to main menu. Because it's all real time too, which is important. Like now it's not, but when you're out doing a mission and you have somebody else on a mission somewhere else, they're still traveling. So it's important to pay attention to what you're doing. I'm gonna set this to full screen. Apply. Accept. I'll make sure the video didn't do anything crazy. Nope, it's still working just fine. So hop right back in. Alright. Now we're going to check out the space plane hangar. Is not really necessary right this second. We have mission control, which is where you get your missions from, and your vehicle assembly building. Let's go ahead and go to mission control real quick. Gather scientific data from Kerbal. These are basic missions that are really easy to complete. See, it says prestige is trivial, this is significant, orbit is exceptional. So we just have to do a quick crew report. You know, basically it's just very, very simple, and you get 6,400, 1 science and 2 reputation, I believe. Yeah. So you get a little bit. So we're gonna go do that. Launch our first vessel. It's another easy one. It's just we just launch our first vessel to the atmosphere. These two we're not going to be able to do. But right now we need to upgrade our mission control facility to get more contracts. But for now, the 2 we have we can do in this next mission. Spaceplane hangar and vehicle assembly building are almost identical. Really, the spaceplane hangar just means when you build it, it launches the runway. Here, it launches off the launch pad. So, without further ado, let's jump straight into the VAB. This is where you build everything. And get your guys set up here. They got to the launch pad. And right now, we don't have hardly anything. There's tons of different stuff to choose from, though, as you can see once you get farther in. To start off, you need to choose a command pod. Later, you can build drones and stuff, which is cool. But for now, this is all we have is a Mark 1 command pod, which holds 1 crew member. So we go here to crew. We have Jebediah, which is our pilot. We also have Valentina as a pilot. We're going to choose Jebediah, because they're our starting pilots. So we have Jebediah, and the only type of engine we have is just a flea solid fuel booster, which is going to take us straight to orbit. I'm going to pull this back, the thrust limiter, to 65. So maybe we'll burn a little bit longer, get a little bit higher. You know what? Give me just a moment here to close enough. Starting out too with your setup, you can only go to a certain limit. Like we can't go over 18 tons and we can't go over 30 parts, and we have a size limit too. But the cool thing is, this also shows us things like, hey, look, there's no parachute, an empty crew cabin. You can't transmit science, and we have unused resources. And you you know, depending on the severity. Like parachute, that's a problem. The skull and crossbones, that means we're gonna die. And the information is just saying, hey, just so you know, this is the thing. Like monopropellant, take that out. We don't need monopropellant, because we don't have anything that can use it. So let me check these thrust limiters, make sure they're good. We now have 2 cruise dots because we use 2 of these. And we're gonna put Bob. Sure, we'll put Bob in the other one because he does science. So he should give us a little more science for what we're about to do. We're planning on bringing this whole thing back to the ground, so we're gonna go ahead and put some basic fins on it. It shouldn't cost us too much. We should be able to do it just fine. It's okay if it's not perfectly symmetrical because this one's kind of just an easy build, but you can see how it's a little interesting trying to set this up. You know, figuring it out for the first time. You know, you can build your own rockets, and they actually have aerodynamics and mass. So like center of mass, it's right there, obviously. Center of thrust, right in the middle. Aerodynamic overlay, which is pretty much on point for what we're doing. So you can take all those off, and later it becomes more, you know, apparent. Like you have to think a little harder when you're building stuff to, okay, this is a manual, this is new. I think it's just explaining how to build ships and stuff. So these are our goals. That's our rockets, and we are missing one very important thing, which is parachutes. Okay, so we have parachutes, and we have our solid fuel boosters. The big issue right this second is we only have it all in one stage, which we don't want to launch our parachutes at the same moment we launch our rockets, so we need to add a stage and our solid fuel boosters to the bottom. And basically every time we hit spacebar, because that initiates the next stage, the first stage, when we press spacebar, will activate our solid fuel boosters. And the thing with the solid fuel boosters is that you can't control the speed, so they basically just launch at whatever they're set to, which right now 65 is our thrust limiter. So that should get us a little higher up in the sky before they finally give out, which they'll give out. We won't be able to make it into space with this thing, obviously, but it's a neat little experiment, and it'll give our guys some experience, and we'll be able to get some science so we can create better equipment. This is something I've done before. I have no idea if it'll work well now, but it should. You know, I basically just want to get them both in the air so they can just have more experience, and I can launch a couple of these or designs similar to these to make it work. So yeah, let's name it and save it. We're gonna call this Kerbal Craft Mark 1. And you can enter a description if you want to, I don't care. So I'm not going to. We have our crew is inbound, or is in, so we're gonna launch. Our objectives are to launch this launch this vehicle, and the other objective is to perform scientific data, or to get scientific data. So there's several things we can do to do that. Crew report. 1.7 or 1.5 science. Boom. Keep it. That should have done it. I don't know why I didn't. Maybe we have to complete the challenge. Oh, I don't need that. Report. Reset experiment. Okay. And observe his Mr. Goo, which is 3 science. Keep that. And the other one we'll do once we're in the air. So SAS, which is stability assistance from Jebediah, due to his ability. Bob Kermit's giving us science. Jebediah's giving us his pilot expertise, which is basically he holds the stick steady for us, so we don't have to sit there and adjust it. We have our nav ball here and our throttle, which is not going to do us any good here. We're basically just going to go straight up unless I change our direction. But I'm not going to. This is our fuel, and our electric charge has gone down because I'm using it. And unless we had solar panels, which we don't have yet, the only way to get more energy or more electrical charges through our alternator, which you'll see in 2 seconds. This thing will jump back up because our engines. Solid fluid boosters have 280 fuel left, but when I press this button in just a second, it's going to start going down very rapidly. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump and begin our first flight. So taking off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lift. Alright, and as you can see, it is rapidly going down. Let's go ahead and get our crew report. 3.5 science. Observe that mystery goo. Alright, we're out. 7 science. So launch our first vessel, and we are basically just have to recover that science to win. And I'm going to use my aerodynamics of the vehicle from these little tiny wings. You'd be surprised just by setting it up like this. We got pretty high up in our first go. We're going to use our basic aerodynamics to push our craft to the side here so we don't land back on the pad. I mean, Kerbal's rotating beneath us too, so it's going to move a little bit. So we should be slightly closer to the launch facility. And we should also be, it looks like we're going to come down on the runway. Or pretty close to the runway. So I pressed spacebar and that activated our parachutes. And we have our guys inside the vehicle. As you can see, they can't really see much, because this is a pretty simple design. And we're coming down pretty fast. You can use time acceleration, but I'm not using it here. This is my first time playing on okay, it looks like we might go down in the water here. Unless our parachutes catch us and bring us out just in time. This looks like they did. There's an obelisk right there too, if you can't see. It's something from early game. It's kind of an Easter egg. Before, you used to just be able to just go right through it. It was just kind of weird when it was there, but now it's supposedly solid. What I was saying 2 seconds ago is like, yeah, this is the newest updated version. And this is my first time playing. I haven't played this game in well over a year. So it's neat coming back to it. It's been a long time. Once these guys can't do an EVA yet, because we have to update our astronaut complex to be able to EVA while off the planet's surface. But whenever we hit the surface, our guys should be able to get out, and I can have them do a quick little EVA to give us just a tiny bit more science. So we should have a fair amount. And okay, I wasn't expecting that to happen, but both pods are still intact, which means they both should be alive. Yeah, they're both alive. Bob's okay. I was about to say his is it's not looking good. That's good. But I'm gonna do a quick little EVA here. EVA report. What do you got? Don't think a spacesuit was entirely necessary to get here, was it? No, probably not. But just to be safe, let's go get back in, and we're gonna go recover your vessel. So we did lose a little bit. We got a lot of science though. Just which the other part of the craft is still out here, so there's gonna be more on there. But we recovered a total of 17.9 science from that, plus what we got from our missions we did. And as you can see, we were a lot lower in funds, and now we've almost doubled our funds. We got a lot of our vehicle back, and he gained 1 experience point, so we should be at level 1 pilot status, because he has done a mission. And if we click on this Mark 1 debris, we recover. Click on this one with the crew, and there's another 5.3 science, so we got a little more science out of that, and we got a lot more parts back, which saves us a little bit of money, and he also got an experience point. So great. And that was all of our stuff. Some of it got destroyed, which is sad, but we'll be okay. Let's go to research and development. So we have basic rocketry and engineering 101 to choose from. We have 34.2 science, and as you can see, for each one of these tiers, it's 5 science, so we can easily afford both of them. The real question is, like, what kind of rockets or what kind of flying am I going to do? This comes with a larger fuel booster. This comes with an actual engine, which is good. And then the fuel tank, the one beneath it, has more scientific stuff. Communitron, so I can transmit data while flying around as opposed to making sure I have to collect it to get the science. It comes with a thermometer for doing scientific studies. Stacked decoupler, which can be used to separate our rocket, and a communitron, which is basically another way to set up the this thing right here. And we have aerodynamic stuff, survivability stuff, heat shields, barometers, radiator panels, landing struts, drogue chutes, regular chutes, service bays, and larger rockets here. To keep it simple, we're going to get basic rocketry, we're going to get engineering, and I can afford general rocketry, so I'm going to do that too. I can't afford anything else, but as you can see, it continues, and as you go, it gets more expensive. Like, we can't see those, but these next ones cost 45 a piece. These cost 18 a piece, or 15 and 18, and this one was 20. So they're more important. Okay. So, do we have any missions? Some of these are hard to do. I want to show off some stuff, so yeah, so that way I'm not too worried about money. I just wanted to do a couple of these. We'll do the 2 basic ones, which is escape atmosphere and orbit. There's more stuff to choose from, like test a stack decoupler, haul a parachute into orbit, test a booster, do surveys at certain places. It kind of gives the game a little bit of an objective as opposed to just exploration. But I mean, it's really cool because you can see like these islands out here, the moon. These mountains even off in the distance, they're all explorable, and you can go to all of them. So it's really cool. Well, this craft was pretty neat to try. I think I'm going to go for something a little different this time. So we need a command pod, because we still don't have anything to do anything crazy yet, but we have fuel. So we're going to tack a couple of these together, like so. And we have our engines. We're going to do a swivel engine because you can turn a little easier with it. We have these big old fuel boosters now, which is cool. We're not going to use those yet. let's go ahead and do it. So we're going to set our thrust limiter down to 50. And I don't have any aerodynamics yet, so I'm just kind of testing something here. Well, not really even testing, because I know it's not effective at all. Just like that. Let's get Valentina in here. We're gonna call this Kerbal Explorer Mark 1. Sure. Now let me just adjust the stages. Yeah, that's good. Just like that. Alright, let's launch it. Oh, it's too... Oh, crap. I forgot. It's heavier than 18 tons, and its total mass is too heavy. Okay. Let's give it a shot. This one weighs yeah, that's not gonna work. For shits and giggles, let's try it. Okay, stop. Let's revert flight back to that building, which is very useful, as you can see. Let's put a pair of fleet flickers on here. Yep, just slightly over. The only thing I can recommend to lighten it up a little bit is to take out a little fuel. Let's try this now. I'm gonna have to adjust these stages real quick. Or not at all. I'm not even worried about it. Let's jump. So, as you can see, we're clearly moving. Barely. We want to head towards those mountains. As we're losing fuel, we're actually getting light enough to where we can propel ourselves. But we're so top heavy, we're gonna come crashing down like a missile into the ground. So let's go back to the vehicle assembly building. Let's adjust this. Put those there. This is too... yeah, perfect. Let's try it again. We need to go left. So launch it. Looks kind of cool, but we're about to run out of fuel. Stop. That was close. Alright. One more attempt to try it, just to do something crazy. Okay. Save. Let's launch it again. It's my last attempt. I want to try to do something fun. A lot harder to control it now because I'm going so much faster. Alrighty. Spin around real quick. Alright. Now we're getting up there. See those mountains now? See those islands now that we were seeing from the ground? That's really cool. I mean, it's only part of the planet. I mean, there's still a lot more to discover. We're trying to get into space now. We won't be able to make an orbit with this, but we will be able to get into space hopefully. Yeah. Now we basically just wait until we're up there. Technically, we're in space. I'm gonna reset this experiment. Reset. Observe. It's 10 science for that. Crew report from her. Alright, let's go out all the way to here. Still can't do an EVA. But observe the goo, see it, because we are very high up right now. There's those same islands, there's those mountains. Very intense. Now we're coming down, straight down. And we honestly, we might burn up. Completely honestly. It says it's unsafe to deploy the chute. We're coming down hard and we're coming down fast. And re-entry might destroy us and kill us. As you'll see here in 2 seconds. going to be in the ocean in like 3 seconds. And kaplunk. And we're on our way down now. So, I mean, she made it all the way to orbit, so she should get 2 experience points for this mission. 1 for flying for the first time, and 1 for, oh crap, I forgot about this. Long temperature. Oops. Alright. Our money should skyrocket. Yeah, it did. So we got 56 science from all that. I didn't up my science, but I upped how much I got for my money. Let's go to the tracking station here. Well, here. I just basically want to give you guys a quick, like, a little show off of this stuff, just so you can see what it's like. We didn't die, which is a good thing. But there's so much to the game. It gets way more in depth, as you can see. It gets pretty crazy. But I appreciate you guys watching. If you'd like to see more of this, let me know. And Staff Sergeant Wraith, you guys take it easy.